Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ESL One Battlefield for Winter Group Stage. Oh my God, 5 weeks already down, Alex.
Yeah.
And we are getting close to the pointy end of things here in this ESL One season. Winter is upon us, and we're ready to see which of our teams are going to be making their way towards the finals here in Cologne soon.
Yeah, winter is coming, and it's going to be an intriguing one, that's for certain. Whether or not we're going to be seeing too many new names. You can see the groups in front of you there. 3 groups outlining what's going to be going down. Of course, the top 2 managing to get that step further. Group A is the one we're going to be starting with today. And you're looking at, you got Penta and Evolution Gamers that are going to be the standout ones there. Enro, Griffins, and Om3ga coming up the rear, and you can see a kind of intriguing question marks surrounding those 2 teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing about Om3ga, and honestly, a lot of actually the teams sort of in the lower seeding positions, that they only really accrued sort of 25 sort of points throughout the season. So purely by making, purely by competing, actually, by participating, they're actually able to get through. And that's just the way the point sort of spread has gone. Penta, of course, have been a high flyer all season, featured in multiple grand finals. In fact, in the Cup number 5, they went head-to-head with Epsilon in what was actually a really good game. So we expect to see them coming out of these groups quite strong. Evolution Gamers, we actually didn't cast too much of them at all this season. They were the team that featured Benny, Gino, Jera, Hunter, and the like at our Gamescom finals. They have changed now, of course, that organization picking up a new team, but they've done reasonably well throughout the season, and we see them here as in the mix as well. Enro Griffins as well was Team TK, and we saw them a few times in some cups. Definitely putting up a fight. There's potential there.
Yeah, and I mean, there's other groups to talk about as well. With this kind of pre-show, it enables us just to talk about both Group B and C as well. Before we dig too deeply into A, I think it's worth taking the time, considering we are still going to be waiting for players to get into the servers. Your other 2 groups, I just want to get them up. In fact, we can just put the other groups back up just for a second to talk about the other teams competing in this in these brackets. You have Leisure, Natus Fungus, Infamous, and Atlas populating Group B.
Yeah, so it's important to note here, according to this as well, the way the seeding works. If I'm not mistaken, it's about right. So yeah, the top teams are the top seeds. So Penta, Leisure there as well, and Epsilon have been pretty consistently top 3. Natus Fungus, though, a team I definitely want to highlight, but played really well in last week's Cup, and they've actually found themselves in 5th place in the overall season rankings.
Yeah, I'd be intrigued to see what they can do. The kind of the Russian-based team as well. That intrigues me, considering the majority of teams are primarily from Europe. Good to have those guys there, and looking to show what they can do. On the side of Group C, though, Epsilon and Revo Esports are the ones holding the highest seeds, with MNG and Begenius taking up the back seat. I like the look of Begenius. The fact that they basically have only got here because of points for competing. Like, literally, it's like pat on the back, wooden spoon. Congratulations, you showed up and sucked. But now you've been given the opportunity, a shot at the group stage, and hopefully, sometimes we see the kind of Phoenix story where they rise from the ashes and actually prove to perform at a decent level.
Yeah, I mean, look at Leisure as well. They are top seed in Group B. Last season, they were fairly average during the actual cups themselves, and they actually fought really well through the group stages and actually had a spot at the final. So they were there at Gamescom. So these guys as well, who've been around a little while, they've changed their team since then. But that was a team that didn't feature heavily online, but had a good showing, a good burst of speed towards the end of things to make their way through. So, that's what they managed to do. And this time they're looking a lot stronger this season. I still very much think it's a 2-horse race between Penta and Epsilon, but we still have these group stages to get through. We still have to find out who's actually going to be at the finals. And in this sort of format, in this GSL format, anything can happen. Obviously, there's a chance if you do drop down to that lower bracket to make your way back up and even qualify as a 2nd seed.
Yeah, and that's of course what we're going to be bringing to you guys today.
That's
3
right.
games.
Yep, 3 games. So we're going to have, of course, the first 2 matches of that one as well, and we will be having an elimination game. So one team from Group A will be dropping out of the competition today. So we'll have to see who that's going to be after our first 2 games, and obviously the losers of them will be featured in our next one here. So looks like we're about ready to jump in the game, Alex. Seems like the teams are essentially ready to go when we get a few restarts. So
this is going to be an interesting one. Om3ga are a team which we know are surrounded by question marks. A group of 10 Greek guys who just turn up, like to play Battlefield. They quite literally have just competed. It's the same story as Begenius in that regard, where they are quite literally just here because they wanted to play Battlefield, and they have been given an opportunity now to compete in the group stage. This is going to be an intriguing one, considering their opponents as well. Going up against Penta, some of the favourites, in fact, if not the favourites, alongside Epsilon, now with the loss of Fnatic. So things could be getting rather exciting, that's for certain. And I think that's going to be the underlying kind of aura surrounding this game is Penta, the undeniable favourites in this matchup. And of course, we have the unknown factor of the Omega side. And that's going to be what's playing out here across the course of 3 maps. Locker our first, Dawn our second, and Zavod our third if we need it.
Yeah, speaking about unknown factor, and you're not wrong in that, especially as Penta don't often get to see Omega in the cups because the way that the seeding works out, Omega is sort of mid to low table, and they normally will go up against a team like your Be Genius or your Revo or your Infamous, for example. So Penta normally in their first round matchup go against the absolute bottom seed of those in the cups, and that's not always Omega. I think in Cup 3 it may have been. So they will have played him at least before, but as I said, these guys are already in the server and already ready to go here. So we expect them to be coming out the gate strong. Of course, Smashu is not in the lineup here for Penta. Q is actually now their 6th player. His age, I think, actually precludes him from playing at the finals. So something that we've seen with quite a few players. Hunter had the same problem actually before our Gamescom finals. It was spring that he couldn't play for SK in. And they definitely needed him there in that one. So we can see the lineup here for Penta. It's going to be Lex, QCK, Yros, Smashu, and Kamika. And this is the lineup that they've generally been creating the most success with. Now, Yros sometimes struggles to make it to our games because he's got studies on and stuff like that as well. But it's clear to see that he's definitely valuing the opportunity to play with his team here. Especially even the first night of our Group A isn't maybe too dangerous for these top teams. There's always the potential for an upset.
There most definitely is. There's always that chance, that kind of glimmer of hope for the underdogs. I would say. I'd suggest that that's kind of going to be the best kind of storyline to follow. This one is just how much damage can they do, and of course, Omega's roster is an intriguing one. We have Thanatos, one of the most Greek-sounding names I think on the roster. We're in love with that one.
Character.
Yeah, I like that Thanatos. I feel like he'd rock like a Spartan helmet with that kind of name. Alongside that, you have Extreme Style, Johnny14, Ghost Tzu, and Capricas. I'm going to call him Cupcake at some point. I'm not going to lie. Excuse me, Capricas. Capracius. Capracius. Actually, that kind of sounds Greek as well. The Great Capracius.
Well, if you say it like that, actually, I guess we're going to have to interpret those names a little bit here. But we are, of course, rolling out here. First game of our group stages. It's Group A. It's Penta and it's Omega Esports here. Of course, on Operation Locker, which we didn't really go too deep into now. We've seen it in the last few cups here. And, of course, it's going to be Penta on that blue side and Omega on the red here. And they're going to be fighting over the middle of that map, obviously, for the first part of this game. Yros, normally that point man sent out wide by Penta here to see if he can contest in that sort of frozen area. And he'll be looking for that player or players from Omega if they sort of want to push towards him. But interestingly enough here, as what you can see on the overview map, Alex, is that, well, Omega actually aren't really putting too many resources outside. There's just that one player, and he's actually sitting well back.
Intriguing to see how aggressive QCK has become. He's already just darted through and found himself a frag. I think it was actually Kami who got that one. As now he's going to have to opt for the sidearm. Still under a whole lot of pressure. Still going to go ahead and take down Thanatos. Big frags from him. And the entire Penta side. Good God, it's just Extreme Style left. This is, in a blink of an eye, Omega have been completely dissolved. And Penta are on fast track to getting that bomb down immediately. Look at that.
You've got to have the feeling that this is going to be a fairly quick game, actually. In fact, no one on Omega has actually scored a kill yet. So Penta are having a perfect game so far. Yes, well, look at that. QCK with 3 as well off camera. So that's just how nuts he is going. He's able just to take these fights quite confidently. We are seeing deaths on the side of Penta, but that's because they suicided at the start of the game. That's the first kill on the board here for Omega, but coming in quite late as the bomb is already down. And Johnny now just trying to get a bit of fighting done against Penta, and Lex is going to send him back. Look at the pressure that's being done. Yros is also on the outside. He gets a shot in towards. Hard ones to make with the fog, but he will be able to pick that one up. And well, you can see that Omega, I mean, the last hope is really Ghost here, and he's going to try and make his way through, but Lex is just going to say no, shake the head, and that will be the first MCOM detonation very early on in the piece.
Yeah, and most of Penta's deaths have actually come just from those dead MCOMs and suicide themselves. It's all pretty much just Penta dealt these deaths at this point. They're controlling their own fate, is a nice way to put it. As it does seem like Omega are going to get caught out here. QCK's going to catch a glimpse of one, a second one crossing as well. He could do a whole lot of damage here as he is going to go ahead and roam towards the long area, but no, that's a second. Thanatos with the AEK is enough, and sufficient damage will be done, but for how long? Lex has already got the return. He's got 2, in fact, as the revives keep on coming in. And Penta, it's so obvious that they have that team synergy that seems to be a little absent on the side of Omega.
Absolutely. You see at the top level, teams fight so long around the middle of the map here, but look at Extreme Style. He's so far back. The Sport's coming in very, very far back, and Yros can challenge here, and he does. He takes down Extreme Style at least. He's going to heal up before he goes for another one. He did take a fair bit of damage on the back of that one. and the incendiary goes up as well just to block him. But, I mean, the confidence from this man is incredible here. Thanatos, though, got a double, and that's a glimmer of hope there for Omega as they are able to pick up the bomb and run with it.
So, okay, so this is good. This is a little breath of fresh air, lets them kind of slow things down, try and control the pace. And as I say that, Cammy is going to rip the bomb from Thanatos' cold, dead fingers. They're going to be running away and just kind of causing a little bit of extra havoc before they go to retrieve those explosives. Cammy looking to try and pick up another frag frame. He's the last man standing at this point. Does manage to dispatch of one more body. It was Extreme Style that did go down, and now he's going to go ahead and just continue to roam around. He's being that kind of ever-present player, enabling his teammates to spawn in on him and keep that aggression present for Penta.
The bomb is on the move here, actually. QCK goes down to Capricious, and now Cammy trying to push through as well towards the middle of the map. Luckily, the back spawns at least are coming in from Penta here. Smashu will be one of those players coming in that second wave to defend. So, yeah, Omega did get a sniff of the cheese, as it were. They're able to come forward with this bomb, and they'll hope for a quick plant, but they've dallied a little bit. They've taken their time. The grenade's going to come out as well. The incendiary is there, so is the smoke. And Joni, well, look at that. It's like a brick wall, pretty much, for him to push through. He has to wait for his team. He has to wait for reinforcements, but Penta can reinforce themselves in the same manner.
Looks like it's going to be Wyros and QCK then who just charge forward, surge forward and find frags. That's the bomb. That's 2 kills. And it's just going to be an easy walk in the park back across through that central area, through the donut as I dubbed it. And look at this though, Thanatos is the one lingering. That's actually going to cost him unless he does kind of catch on relatively soon. He is in the underground. And because of that, he is going to potentially have access to catching that bomb. It does, however, mean he's dilly-dallying and may not be present for this very important fight. Wyros doesn't connect the bullets, though. A little bit of kind of catching. Oh, hang on a second. No, this is working beautifully. Thanatos is in prime spot now as he's going to be sprinting just beneath where all the action is unfolding. Wyros did find one in the meantime as Extreme Style is gone. And now just one man remains.
Yeah, I mean, he was in a good spot. He could have flanked. He could have gone towards Wyros. But the problem is, Wyros is a one-man wrecking ball right now. He was able to challenge down the entirety of Omega's players that left up there. There was probably about 3 of them that were there, with QCK with 13 kills and not that many deaths as well. Penta are just unstoppable. And look at the positioning here from Omega. They're not really grouped up. They're split. They're coming from the backside. That does work in their favor. But still, Penta are going to be watching all their angles. They're going to be watching their corners. And you can see they're going to be watching the bodies fall. That's Omega just dropping one after one. And there's a squad wipe. And this is it. Halftime coming up very quickly.
I was just cutting between one man after the other as each single one fell. Like a house of cards, they come tumbling, and we are going to be seeing a whole load of frags on the side of Penta. Look at those numbers, folks. They don't lie. 44 kills to just 20 deaths for Penta. Half of them self-inflicted as well, as that is going to be another MCOM destroyed and a very, very quick first half.
Very clean stuff from Penta Sports there. You can see at no point do they really have momentum taken away from them. They're able to push forward at all times and continue coming towards them. Omega Esports here, well, it's a big challenge, to be honest. Like, this is, as you go in as the lower seed, this is not necessarily the game you expect to come in and win. But this is important as well. This is important, you know, to put up a performance here as well. If you go up against the other team in that losers game, in the you know, disqualification match, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Elimination, should I say. It's really, really important that you at least have warmed up, and there's no better team, I guess, to prepare for that up against than Penta. But look at QCK, 15-4. The man, they just let him off the chain that game.
They did, and on kind of the other side of the spectrum, you just look at Smashu. Like, everyone else was fragging. He had 1 frag. I don't know whether he disconnected or he was... I mean, I don't know. It's not bad. He was just probably uninvolved. Like, he was probably given a responsibility to hold a particular angle, hold a particular portion of the map, and no action necessary, it seems, for him in that one. He could very well be the player let off the leash, as you already kind of quite beautifully summarized. That could be the case for our second half. But it does seem to be a very, very scary scenario now for Omega. That first half being one of the fastest I think we've seen in recent times. Seeing that first half go that way, that questions how's the second, but also how's Dawnbreaker going to look? A map favouring QCK's style of aggression.
Absolutely, and Penta's approach to that one as well. They have it pretty well on lockdown. You know, in fact, the only half that I've seen quicker than that one was actually Epsilon versus Fnatic on Siege of Shanghai 2 weeks ago. Okay. Their last performance in one of the cups, they got completely anti-stratted by Epsilon, and they were typing GG before that second MCOM went up. It was at halftime as well. 5 minutes into that first half, it was already 2-0. Yeah, that was like, that was honestly, that was Fnatic like, yeah, okay, boys, let's pack it up.
Let's get out of here.
Let's pack it in. We are done. But the countdown now is underway, ladies and gentlemen. This first match has been very straightforward, I'd like to think, so far. As you said, you know, you also said Smashu could be that kind of player that can be let off the chain at any one time. And in fact, we've seen him do that as well. We've seen him do it for MYM. We've seen him do that for EGZ back when he played at Gamescom as well. He is that, I guess, that power player. He is that really important, you know, cog in the machine. But unfortunately, not everyone can be the high flyer in terms of frags.
Cog in the machine. Talking of machine, though, look at Lex's weapon. He's rocking the heavy machine gun. He's got the big, bad bullets as he's going to be trying to do some damage with that one. Actually, still rocking his Magnum as well in case he wants to try and show off with some of that. But he's actually opting for the support class this time. It's going to be intriguing to see whether or not that's just a bit of bad manners or he's got something up his sleeve, as he is going to go ahead and start the sprint towards the bomb. There's going to be a big pack of Penta coming in now, ready for the punch. It's going to be just Ghost who's first to receive them, but he's going to be late. The nades are coming in. He's low already. He's gone. He's straight out of there, and it's Lex who draws first blood.
Yeah, all he's doing is spraying through the nade fire here as well. With these close quarters, these choke pointers here, Lex can really just lay into those ones and put a lot of damage down. Thanatos, though, will at least get one back here for his team.
God.
But look at Lex, just letting him have it there. It's a suppressive fight. That's really all that needs to be done here. It's a distraction, but, you know, aiming that gun in towards those choke points can deny it so easily. But here's QCK now as well. I always wonder if it means quick, because he tends to live up to that kind of name. He always moves very, very fast. He's very aggressive, especially towards the bomb. He loves to take that challenge, and there's Smasher and Cammy as well, doing due diligence on the outside of the map. They can now make their way through in towards that staircase. They now have control of the middle of the map, and well, from here, it should pretty much be a fairly straightforward approach. They're going to go towards that A side. They're going to go for an MCOM plant, and it should be uncontested.
Yeah, Om3ga seems to be really struggling to just kind of get any sort of leg up into the into this game at the moment. Very much struggling just to get frags as well. 2 players yet to get off that magical 0, and it's been kind of a horrible story for them at the moment. Finally, Kaprakias does find himself one as well. That's going to be his first. We can go, of course, to the highly contrasted Penta as they are all rocking around that 3 to 4 frag mark. Thanatos does connect onto QCK though. Wyros is in the depths just by the corpse of his fallen comrade, but look how aggressive they're holding. You can see Penta, there's 4 of them so pushed up that Om3ga, there's 0 chance they're going to get away with it this time. They're trying to maybe consider going all the way around a long loop, but that's not going to happen. You can hear the siren squealing, as you know this is going to be a very quick MCOM destroyed. And
it's just Ghost now. All he can do is look on in dismay as the rest of his team will become just that. And Om3ga Esports, well, they have lost this one. That is the game. So obviously that being that 3rd MCOM detonation, that is well, a lead that cannot be made up, and that actually will end the first map. So that one going handily in favour of Penta there as well. We probably didn't expect too much different there as well. The GGs are coming out in chat, and that one is, well, it's game over.
Yep, so that does conclude with that 3rd and final kind of nail in the coffin for Om3ga in our first map. That does wrap that one up, and of course sets the sights then on Dawnbreaker, which is going to be our second. This, I feel like, is a bit of an open and closed case. It's just Om3ga not being able to kind of deal with Penta, a team who have been, I mean, let's be honest, Om3ga, they've been present in the Cups, but when you have 10 people playing, you could very easily have someone that hasn't had, you know, I was about to say they've still had some experience, but you don't know if the players that are playing today have even had the 5 weeks of experience that the other teams have.
The thing is, yeah, well, that's one point as well. It's a big team. The thing is as well for Om3ga is that they, when it comes to the Cups, they only really play 1 game a week. It's that first game,
good point, yeah.
And they get eliminated in that first round. So they are a presence in sort of the Go 4 Cups as well. And we've seen a couple of situations where they've made it to the 3rd round, I think. But you know, they often run into teams like B Genius, Infamous, EGZ even, and do get knocked out at that point as well. So you do get a good feel for where they sort of sit on the food chain, so to speak. But definitely this should be a walkover for Penta here. The fact of the matter is their gunplay is a lot better. They have a very good 6th sense about the way to play around it here. They've been, I mean, they were big last season. They were sort of a headlining team, and this season no different as well. They weren't able to take a grand final winner away from Epsilon, and that should tell you a lot. That should tell you, like, if Om3ga can't even really put a scratch on towards a team like Penta, then Epsilon is a step ahead right now. I mean, that's the kind of gap we're looking at in skill.
Epsilon is in a high echelon. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And I think for this team right now, Om3ga's primary focus is to have a learning experience. And I feel like I'm a little patronizing saying that, and it can be considered rude. But I mean, you're going to encounter this in group stages, especially the first couple of rounds, where there are teams who there's a fraction of a chance that they're going to be able to beat these teams. Penta, I would put in the top 3 right now. Absolutely, no doubt, questions asked. Om3ga have got here just because they competed. Their opportunity now is a chance to play up against Penta and try their best to learn from it. You know, they've got VODs now. They'll be able to watch this stream, see if they can kind of catch anything that went wrong, go through, you know, a bit of a team discussion about it surrounding these 2 games. I don't know how much they're going to learn from it. I think it could just be a case of, oh, well, we got outplayed. But there could be something they can take away.
Absolutely. I mean, the reality is that you can put together a myriad of different strategies, but if you cannot execute these, if you cannot get the kills when you need to be there, then you may as well not have any at all. And you may as well just really try and focus on winning the gunfights, winning those 1v1s, trying to put yourself in the advantageous position against your foe, and play to percentages that favour you. Where it could come down to vantage points or positioning yourself in safer locations. All those things we need to think about. But we're here on to Dawnbreaker now, and this map's interesting. One that Penta have favoured in the past. They like to use. They'd like to get a cheeky little quick plant down and then just use the laws and the s'mores. I'm hungry now, but to reset that sort of bomb defuse attempts to keep people off them. The reality is that once they get in there, Wyros will actually take a recon class here. I have seen Penta take 2 recon classes on Parasol Storm. I'm pretty sure that was a bit of BM as well. So we'll have to see now what the plan is here for Wyros. So he's going to be playing fairly wide out. QCK going to be pushed up a little bit further amongst the smoke here. So he's definitely looking for an entry, an opportunity to really get under the skin of Om3ga Esports and just make it very, very hard for them to recover. I mean, there's already kills coming in here. They'll smash you there on towards Ghost. So I see over the map, you can see a lot of position from Om3ga up on the grassy knoll that we've been calling it. And QCK has already got himself well into the belly of the beast.
This is intriguing that he's got so far, and actually he's just going to go ahead and start firing. He's going for some more suppressing fire than fragging power at this point, because he is just going to keep those 2 players busy, as he is going to get some spawns in as well. Penta going to get a big foothold here on the map and making short work of one. What just happened? The M98B? Oh my god, he's gone. It was Wyros who did that frag, and of course you can see Cammy's there as well behind him. Straight on towards the nose of Thanatos. He's gone. The bomb's going in as well. And now they just have to sit and wait. And I wouldn't be surprised if Wyros has got himself in a cheeky position as well.
He'll go down to this balcony here. A lot of people do that. It's super hard to contest this. If you've got people on that C site, on the other side, oh, there it is. Nice. We're on towards Johnny there. And he'll make a second one, will he? Oh, he just got the spot. So, I mean, if you get on the other side of those flower beds, obviously there's a wall in front of you that only really shows a small amount of your head. So it's very, very hard for people to actually see you through that at all. And Wyros can just hold here as well. That's another kill for him. I mean, at this stage, it's essentially just fairly Mickey Mouse sandpit kind of stuff here from Penta, as they just set up in fairly standard positions, and they know that they will make the shots, because it's so much harder as a defending team when you have to get towards the bomb to actually be able to stop, fire, and keep moving. When you got that objective in the back of your head, it's super hard to focus on actually winning the aim battles.
He's going for the tags. He's going to try and take the tags. He does. Rips them from his neck, as that's going to be Cammy onto Extreme Style. And he definitely gets that frag in Extreme Style. Very nice from him, as that's going to be a quick MCOM destruction as well for Penta. And they continue as they mean to go on.
So that's pretty metaphorical for the way the game's gone so far as well. The fact that Cammy, I've never actually seen a knife in competitive Battlefield. So, I mean, the fact that, Om3ga was so unaware that he could be positioned there as well, whether they didn't spot him or whatever. That's how much freedom Penta have right now. The fact that, like an Ace 23 for Smash, you can sort of be picking up kills from that trench. He just pokes his head over, and Penta just goes straight for this one as well. So
no smoke.
They're winning these battles. I mean, there's 5 kills on the side of Om3ga.
21 on Penta. Yeah, that's pretty nuts. The bomb's gone down from Wyros, of course. The recon class, the class you'd expect to be at the backline, is planting and picking up frags like that. G18 to the body of Thanatos is going to be a kind of good sign of things to come for them. Now it's going to be a case of what Extreme Style and Co can do. He has made his way through the trenches, but it feels like he's just going to be playing the waiting game, and maybe the impeding doom is on its way. They're going to have to go ahead and close this gap fast. They are just above it. However, that bomb's still ticking away, and Penta, they're in prime spot to just stop this defuse.
They've got flanking positions right now. They don't even need to be on the bottom. They can just be up towards the side. There's a lot of protection to be had from being amongst those buildings, and then they can spring their trap. They can pop out when they need to. They can stop this bomb plant. He's smashing there as well. He's happy just to lay down some of that squad suppression. He's just putting some fire down. And that was another very quick half, about as a little slightly quicker than the first half of that first match as well. So same thing here, Alex. Of course, we're seeing most of Om3ga not actually be able to get too many kills. Three people with just the 1 kill here. A little bit more of a balanced scoreboard on the side of Penta, but you see what they're doing as well. They hit that C site. They shell-shocked Om3ga straight away. Wyros bringing that recon class in there as well. Knew that he would have the freedom to do that. The only reason why players don't opt for them is because it's not always consistent or a reliable damage. But when Wyros knows that there's no attention going to be going over towards him, because this is Penta's map, and Om3ga clearly, I mean, weren't looking towards him at all. They were solely focused on the bomb, because it's like the bucket theory, I guess. Like, you've got like a full bucket It's a good metaphor for mental bandwidth, I think, as well. It's like, I can only process this much amount of information, right? The bomb's down, and there's a player that I'm trying to fight.
Okay.
Now, if I'm not experienced at the game, that's really all that I can commit my brain to, right? That's using the entirety of my mental bandwidth. Then there's like a player down towards the side harassing me. There's people yelling at me from my team as well. And as you build experience, your mental bandwidth does increase. You can actually sort of mentally multitask a little bit more and actually be able to execute all the things that you need to. But Omega clearly seem to struggle with that as well. They're not winning the 1v1s, and the rest of it just falls apart from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a case of mental fortitude at some point. You mean you have really just taken a big jab at Omega there, claiming that their bucket is a little smaller than that of Penta's. But I mean, it's going to be an interesting one all the same for them, just to kind of be able to realize, like, good God, we just got shreked. Like, they have been knifed, they have been sniped. It really has been a bit of a one-sided affair, to put it rather politely, I guess. 30 seconds left in this one then, and of course this is the second half of our second map, and so Dawnbreaker could very well be the last map we see. It seems very likely at this point that we could just see one more MCOM destruction, one more mobile command removed from the map, and we would see our first game wrapped up.
Well, yeah, we got 10 seconds left before we're into this one here, and Penta looking strong as well. I mean, the map, there's no real strong inherent biases here. There's a couple things that teams can use, sort of that are only available on one side or the other, the US or the Chinese side. I think it's on this one, or maybe Russia. But for the most part, it is fairly symmetrical. The bomb spawns in the middle, and we are now, of course, into game. Let's see exactly what these two teams are going to be doing. Bomb spawns in the middle here. And again, Penta will be on the red side now. You can see they're split their forces a little bit. Ghost is going to head straight up the guts here and might try and establish some sort of position in the middle and get some spotting done. Yeah, so he'll do that. He'll move towards the bridge. So bridge is important, obviously, to have that higher ground. We see a lot of fighting over it, sort of back and forth. Having a Magnum out at this stage, he's looking for a pot shot. I will probably be trying to get a safer position before I attempted to engage anything. But look at Penta as well. They're already sort of straddling that bridge. Got a few players on the other side as well. And QCK going for some shots.
That's a big one as well. Takes down Ghost immediately, as that's going to be one threat neutralized. And it's going to, of course, put him in good stead, I would say, to pick up that frag. But no, there it is. Finally, Extreme Style, who hit the deck, did manage to delay his fate. But what happens all the same? And oh, God, I feel a plant coming on, Mitch.
Yep. Easily. I mean, you can see that, you know, the Omega guys are sort of off towards the side. So they were all, I guess their eggs were all in one basket. They didn't really have the ability to cover the entire sort of side of their map. So they were forced to filter out of a small little corridor and walk straight into the eyes of Penta. There was only one direction they could have come from, and Penta were ready for that one here. So bomb will go down, and Penta should be able to hold them here as well. Penta was so good when they established positions around bombs. He's so good that QCK is going to kill Wyros and still be able to, you know, maintain control of this one here. Lex will back up. He does get the kill, and his Smashy, of course, some shots were coming in towards him. You can see on the bomb, it's Ghost. He's looking for someone up on that balcony here as well. He's got to be careful the way he approaches this one as well. Climbing over those walls makes it hard for you to fire immediately after the setup is there. Ghost can try and have some shots. He does get the kill on towards Ryros. That's an important one there as well. He might be able to head towards this one. Yes, the defuse comes out here, and it seems as if Penta just taking the foot off the gas a little bit there. But Smash is going to get the quick double here. Comes out the Magnum. Oh, Ghost is trying to make it work. He doesn't connect at all, and the bomb is going to be taken away. He's going to try and get the knife. Oh! That is karma. He gets him back there, and, well, a knife kill coming out from Omega as well. So it's not all doom and gloom. They at least get some of that. They save some face.
He's going to be showing those dog tags off for a while, as he now holds the Penta dog tags in his hands. Now, though, we are going to be seeing that defuse come in, and that does kind of stave off Fate for a bit. That's going to be a big sigh of relief for the boys of Omega, as now it's time for the Greeks to have a go at offense. You can see they have kind of started to produce a bit of an assault. I'm seeing a little bit of a hold, though, from Penta. They've decided they're going to hit the brakes, wait for the enemy to come to them, just deliver that bomb on a silver platter. Yeah,
and the reality is that Omega still need to have to execute. If they're going to come forward with a bomb and attack, they have to get these kills, and you can see that. The little blue blip on your map is that Omega player with the bomb in hand, and he's actually in a fairly aggressive position here. You can see he's surrounded by Penta players. He doesn't have teammates there. Was that? It was another dog tag?
What is happening? Yep. What on earth is happening? Another dog tag. Smash you. Taking another man's
was that Wyros actually, I think, took extreme.
Was it Wyros?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not even sure anymore.
I don't even know.
So everyone's filling their collections up with dog tags here. The bomb's in the hands of Smashy here, and he's pretty comfortable coming forward. There's only 3 Omega players left on the map. It's definitely descending into complete and utter pandemonium here. A few kills are coming back, at least from Omega. That's a 2v3 situation, but Smashy has been confident enough to continue to press the assault here. He's on the bomb site.
The Good spell trouble. Look at that. Going to get a huge pick onto Gosu. He has support as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes ahead and continues to hold this angle while planting. Nope. Doesn't even choose to. He's not even going to try and get the bomb down. At this point, they're just going to be shooting for the frags. The bomb does go down, excuse me. As he was doing both at the same time. Simultaneous, both planting and fragging, it seems.
You can do that. You can defuse a bomb while firing at the same time as well, which is quite interesting. And in clutch scenarios, like we've seen some big stuff from, someone defusing the bomb to win the game and they're getting pushed on by 3 and he just sprays them down while defusing. I mean, that's multitasking, on a complete another level. But these guys, of course, are trained military operatives, so I guess that's, realistic in terms of the game. But the bomb's down here on Omega with 3 players. They must get towards this one. It's Ghost going to be stepping up to the plate first and foremost. He's going to go, ooh, takes the head clean off Wyro's shoulders. And in fact, I think he might be going to get this one. He was just going to hide around the corner. No, there's a frag grenade, and that should do it here. Omega don't have any players close enough. That is the 3rd MCOM detonation of the game for Penta Sports. And in possibly one of the quickest best of 3s that we have seen, Penta take the victory.
Wow. Yeah, so that comes to a close a lot quicker than we would have first anticipated, as we're going to go ahead and see Penta pick up the victory in what was, like as you were just saying, I mean, how long has it been? Keep an eye on the clock. What's the time now?
We're seeing about 5 minutes per map.
Okay, so about a 10-minute best of 3. Outstanding stuff.
Yeah, per half.
Per half. Okay, okay. So more 20, but still outstanding stuff from Penta as they demonstrate that they're not going to be tripped up by any of the initial hurdles presented to them in the group stage.
Absolutely. So, I mean, with that one done and dusted, that will mean that Omega will drop down in towards the losers bracket. We will still see them play tonight. They will go up against the loser of our next match, which will feature the Enro Griffins and Evolution Gamers. So that'll be interesting. Evolution Gamers are that we would normally think them the higher seed here. They're actually not, because obviously Enro Griffins is a newer name in the Battlefield 4 scene, at least in recent times, having picked up Team TK, who have had some success. But I mean, I believe the other seeds in this group are reasonably low down. They're not sort of top 4, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, well, Team TK, or now Enro Griffins, finished about 25 points. Evolution Gamers finished about 50. So it's the same thing.
EGZ are the higher seed.
Yeah, EGZ are the higher seed, but only by 1 win, like 1 extra step in one of the 5 cups prior to this group stage. So, I mean, very little separating them in terms of points. It's so interesting, though, when you do look at the final standings, but because of, people competing at various times in different cups, the spread of points is outstanding. Like Epsilon are something like 370 points. Yep. And now we're looking at, I mean, Team TK, I think let me get this right, the 11th seed coming into this one, and they just have 25 points. Yep. Like that, there's a huge discrepancy, and I think that's going to be intriguing to see how that applies to actual results here in the group stage.
I definitely think that these two teams, EGC and TK, are closer together than, especially in our last match as well. So you sort of have the first versus 4th and the second versus 3rd. So that's the second game should be a little bit closer by rights. On paper, it should be one for EGC, but I don't really know if we've seen these two teams play together. We probably didn't broadcast it because we normally kick off that first round with like a Penta or a Fnatic or an Epsilon game to sort of kick things off, and then we sort of dart around the brackets a little bit more here. So it'll be interesting for us as well. Yeah. Collecting data, on how these guys are going to be performing, because one of these two teams may well be also making their way through towards the finals. There's a possibility. Top 2 from this group.
Yeah, top 2. I mean, Penta have kind of made a good case for that one spot, but one of these guys is going to be, well, I'm making weird noises with my mouth, but it should be intriguing to see who's going to take that second spot. I'm intrigued to see more about Enro Griffins. They've just been picked up by a rather reputable organization, usually picking up German rosters. They've done that again. It's going to be very interesting to see if the Enro Griffins have, the organization's made a good bet with their new pickup.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be getting into that game after the break, of course. We do have our games slightly more scheduled, sort of locked in terms of time tonight. So it should be at 8:15 CET was actually when our next was supposed to start. Now, that's about 40 minutes away. So we'll try and keep you updated on our overlay, obviously, in the break. We'll keep that up to date for you. So if we do move that map forward, then you guys will know about it if you are watching the stream. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you in just a moment. Don't go too far.